The headline was likely going to be about Dreaming Tree being played or the rare Sperry poster drop. But tonight's headline is the fact that for the first time in a non-acoustic set with the full Dave Matthews Band, Tim Reynolds whipped out an acoustic nylon string guitar. Fans have been waiting for this for a while, and it finally happened. The D&B post-show stream starts now.
Got it gone on like a dog with the television on. Staring blankly at the screen the way you do. I'll keep you there and your money too. If you all line up inside of here, do what I tell you and everything'll be okay. And if you're lost, I got a bobblehead Jesus. Get on your knees, that Jesus I please ya. The money is clean, cause we scrap it good. With guns and gasoline, we could save the world. Nothing's obscene if we only close our eyes. Boys and girls, welcome to this joyride. Come on. The line, get in line and everything I'll be fine. We got tossed out trouble to the wind. We beat them all like we did in the end. The money is clean, cause we scrub it good with guns and gasoline. I'm gonna save the world. Nothing's obscene if we only close our eyes. Boys and girls, welcome to this joyride. 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 Alright. Coming up a little something to get by. Taking everything into account the way you should. Line it up, got to be so good.
you. It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
But Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. Shout out to the Bay Area. Ooh. Berkeley, what up? Shout out Lil B, the bass guy. San Jose, stand up. Palo Alto, what up? Menlo Park, what up? San Francisco, what up? Shout out to Modesto. Sacktown, what up? Hayward, what up? Fremont, what up? Oakland, what up? Sorry I lost the A's. Walnut Creek, what up? Shout out to Wine Country. Santa Rosa. Shout out Stockton. San Mateo. Daly City, what up? Shout out to the BART. That's that Bay Area Rapid Transit. What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34, and DMB is moved on to the Bay Area for a show that came out of the gates hot. So we're going to talk about that today.
Whoop. Swag.
But shout out to everyone out there in the Bay Area. You guys get a show here and you get a poster that is highly coveted. And so glad that DMB was able to get out for a second California show here.
Ghost Ride the Whip.
So, the headline here tonight is Tim Reynolds, in a full band traditional set, whipped out a nylon string acoustic guitar. This is something that has been suggested in message boards and forums by longtime DMB fans. and I am included in that. It's a no-brainer to preserve the original sound of this band. There's evolutions, there's new members that come and join, but to me, one of my biggest frustrations when it comes to 2008, Tim Reynolds joins Dave Matthews Band, and this time it would be not as a guest sitting in for a tour or for a bit, but as someone who would become a member of this band. And to me, one of the things that was frustrating, as far as that sound, is Tim's electric guitar parts, to me, would sometimes play over what Dave was playing. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that when he came around this time, 2008 and 09 and 2010, he was more turned up in the mix. Versus when you look at a fall of 98, when you look at a Red Rocks 95, when he was a little more down in the mix, which allowed the band's acoustic percussive sound to shine through with some supplementary wizardy parts from Tim, who had been playing with Dave Matthews Band and in studio was, accredited with parts he played on some of the big albums when the band came out early on in the early to mid 90s. So I think Tim Reynolds is an important part of the history of D&B for many reasons, but I've always believed certain parts should be on acoustic guitar, if possible, live as well. And the reason I say that is because this band started out without an electric guitar player, and I think that was perfect for the origins of this band. And what that meant was you had a lot of space for Stefan's bass. You had Leroy Moore shining through on sax. You had Boyd Tinsley at the time being able to provide a fiddle that was very unique, and they weren't going to be a rock band that had an electric guitar and had to be loud. They had this unique sound that was theirs. But when you had warehouses in 08, 09, 2010, specifically, where Tim was mirroring Dave's parts on acoustic guitar, playing over everything Dave did, that to me was a negative and a not a positive step for the sound of the band. And a lot of that is with how the sound is mixed for the live shows. But nonetheless, tonight, what did we get? We got a show where Tim Reynolds, starting with Proudest Monkey, was on what I did some research, and I looked up some guitars and talked to some people behind the scenes, and it looks like Tim had a Breedlove acoustic guitar based on how the headstock is, based on how things were in the various, Couch Tour streams. And shout out to the Couch Tour for being able to, capture these moments initially. And I'm hoping some native videos that were recorded, not streamed, but just recorded in HD or 4K come out so we can kind of better see that acoustic guitar if possible. But it's acoustic nylon string guitar. And so when Proudest Monkey is played, it's Tim's parts were more complementary. They weren't playing over Dave or the rest of the band. It was a good blend. And so that's a great song to start off with acoustic guitar, and specifically nylon acoustic guitar, which is a softer sound than the steel string or various traditional stringed acoustic guitars. Next up comes a song that you guys have heard me talk about here that is a song where Tim Reynolds, I believe the parts on electric guitar pierce my ears. He's a talented player, but I'm going to keep it a buck. Those satellite parts, I do not like those parts on electric guitar, but when Dave and Tim play together and it's on acoustic guitar, I think it's great. But on electric, it pierces through and takes away from what Dave is playing. And also it blocks any possibility of Buddy playing on piano to supplement it. Live Tracks 31, my favorite satellite ever. You have a Butch Taylor and Dave Matthews being the loudest two, or the most present in the mix as far as instruments, and it's beautiful. And so when you have an acoustic guitar on Proudest Monkey into Satellite, and then you have another beautiful song in Black and Bluebird, which I've always loved and enjoyed, think it should be in some sort of movie of some kind where a father-son duo are looking up at the stars. It'd be a great pitch would be to, if there is a movie with the father and son type plot, to have that as part of it. But another song that, again, it makes sense to have it on. And so then Tim goes back to electric for Word Up and the Dreaming Tree, etc. But then when you get to Crash Into Me, Tim goes back on that acoustic nylon guitar. And again, another song where having that nice acoustic guitar presence is better. So I will always advocate for, you never will hear me say, hey, they need to bring back this person or that. I don't do that. And I understand why people want certain sounds from the past back and certain instruments back. I will never do that. My suggestions, my feedback, my hopes are that the personnel that is available for these shows has certain slight tweaks, slight modifications, like Rashawn Ross not playing in the upper registers, like Tim Reynolds being on acoustic guitar, right? Like having a satellite where the piano is more present in the mix, right? That's turned up. That you have a number 41 that, this is not rocket science, has a saxophone solo. Am I being too controversial there? Right. These are slight adjustments that if the band does these things, it just elevates a show, in my opinion, and in the sound is better. I know D&B can rock out a song like Let's Dance, which, I'm not saying they should need to play it, but when they play it, that's a popular cover, and Tim is on that electric. That makes sense. On a Crush, I understand Tim on electric. But the overwhelming majority of these songs, I think acoustic guitar is the better fit. And you don't have to do nylon. You could have a regular acoustic. And Tim Reynolds on acoustic guitar has shown how great he sounds with Dave and Tim. So that's the headline, man. Tim Reynolds on acoustic guitar. Now, the Almanac, I was chatting with my buddies at the Almanac during this show, and they have this little statement on their set. The set here, it says, first time Tim has played acoustic guitar at a full band show since 9/3/2015. That was a DMB 2 set show, and it was the first set was acoustic. That's where Tim played acoustic. And the first time ever outside of acoustic show sets. Notably, this is the same venue that used to host the Neil Young annual Bridge School benefit concert, which DMB played multiple times and featured acoustic sets from all artists. I want to say Dave and Tim did it as well. And Neil Young will be here in a couple of weeks. He played a show tonight at Jones Beach, which, by the way, let me go ahead and bring up a picture. Shout out to my boy, The Hammer, who was at this show. Let me show you guys exactly. I'm trying to zoom in here. This was from my buddy in Long Island. This show, side note, this is the Neil Young show. They refunded all these people in this front orchestra area because the remnants of the hurricane that's out there out in sea brought some waves and elevated water levels. So you could not put seats here. Now, Dave and Tim and DMB at this venue at Jones Beach have had some water underneath the seats, but this whole thing got flooded. So fun thing there for Neil Young tonight at Jones Beach. They had to they refunded everyone in that orchestra area because it just wasn't a good call to have people sitting there because they couldn't. It was underwater. So a little bit of history there. This is the same venue, Shoreline Amphitheatre, where Bridge School benefit. That was a fundraiser for a school. I think it was a specialty school. I can't remember fully, but pretty cool. I hope this continues. That's the next thing. Does this continue? I really hope it does continue because this is a positive and I think a great step forward if you have D&B shows where Tim is on acoustic for some of it. All right, so we got Brian. He's coming. He just came home from the show. Dreaming Tree was his favorite of his night. Says my wife got to hear Proudest Monkey, so I was excited about that in the encore. I am going to and also while I'm doing this, I'm just gonna pull up. I'm still here. I'm still talking to you guys. Someone just sent me a video review from Instagram, so we're gonna play that here. Thank you to Rich, who reached out to me via IG. Please, if you guys do want to come on the post-show stream, and I think the video review is the best way, in my opinion, because I can just play it. I don't have to ask it questions, and right now it's 2:33 in the morning. So let's see. I'm gonna download this here. And we'll get that loaded up. Now, I listened to the full show. Again, shout out to the couch tour. There were people there that that were sending back some information for me as well, which I always appreciate. So I was able to kind of grab certain things, even though I was not physically there. Now, let's start off with the first, I would say the first 5 songs, but you could maybe say the first 4. Last night, you guys were giving me great information and intel from LA, Inglewood, whatever you want to call it, there. And last night's show was in an old arena. It was humid in that arena, or hot or steamy in that arena. It appeared that whatever the cooling systems, it was on the warm side. Dave talked about early on sweating like he had played a full show in the first, after a song or two. And so last night's show started off with You and Me. We never need to hear that song open up a show again. Although I will say getting it out of the way early is better than having it be stuck. As someone who doesn't like You and Me, I think in some ways it is kind of cool to just get it over with. And then So Right was the real opener for that show. But that should never happen again. It just it's funny, hey, they're trying different things. Okay. But anyway, last night's show, I think people who went to last night's show may have been kicking themselves when they saw the first 3 or 4 songs from tonight. And it was a humid building. The sound, some people said the sound was good where they were. Other people said it was muffled a little bit, but they just still enjoyed the show. It didn't fully ruin the show for them. They just adjusted and enjoyed it. But last night's show, very hot inside of the Kia Forum. It was in the 90s that day. But today was a show where at the start of this show, the temperature was around 65 degrees. You had Tim in a hoodie. You had, people dressed a little warmer on stage. But you had really 65. That's a great temperature to be on stage moving in front of lights shining on you. So this band came out the gate very, very just kind of comfortable in their element in an amphitheater versus a summer arena show. And they play You Never Know, Bartender, Joyride, Dancing Nancy's. And then I think of Monsters as a positive. When you think of the newer songs, Walk Around the Moon, Come Tomorrow, I think Monsters is a great song and one of the better songs. Even though it's been worked on, Mark Batson worked with the band for a while, well, like before the sessions for Walk Around the Moon, this song was already kind of, the blueprint of it was already put together. Then you get the Spaceman, and in my opinion, I'm not someone who's like, oh, I have to hear Spaceman. it's not bad. And they skipped through the solo was short. Anytime Rashawn has a shorter solo, I think the song is better. I don't think the song is meant to jam out. I've heard a jam with it actually, that was my first show. And there was, I'm trying to think, I'm drawing a blank, but you had, Stanley Jordan played, on that. And that was a little different, but I think it's just, you don't need Spaceman to be jammed out. After with Spaceman, Jimmy thing is like for fans who go to a lot of shows, you don't ever need to hear Jimmy thing again. Some people love it though, but I think for some fans, like, oh, Jimmy thing. Then you get Hunger for the Great Light, which again is gonna have mixed reaction. And then I will say, a song like Spaceman, there are people who wear shirts, like all the freaks on the parade. You'll see them at certain shows. So there are people who like it, but honestly, do we need to hear it? No. I'll just say that straight up. We don't need to hear it. And then you get then we get, after Hunger, you get this Proud as Monkey Satellite, Black and Bluebird, which to me is cool because Tim's on acoustic. But I think for some fans, like, those songs are a little too chill for a Saturday night show. And then you get Word Up, which is a cover, but again, mixed reactions. A lot of times it's the loudest crowd pop is a song like Word Up, but again, many DMB fans want DMB songs. So the Dreaming Tree comes out, and that is a song that obviously is going to be coveted by fans who are longtime fans, no matter what type of stuff they like. It's just going to be a great song, and it was great tonight. And then you have Gravedigger. Buddy's organ seemed a little more prominent than normal, and he was really blending that in. And so Gravedigger is going to get mixed reactions as well. So Damn Lucky, again, you're going to get mixed reactions, fans who love it, fans who don't. Louisiana Bayou is going to, again, get its fans who's like, oh, Bayou, why do we need that? And then you have Crash Into Me Rapunzel. And so, in Tim on acoustic, but this set, when you think about what we got in Camden and Guilford and SPAC and in Chicago, shout out to Chi-Town, I think this set is, you have some great moments, but you also have some moments where you're like, bruh. For fans who are looking for some of the deep cuts and some of the stuff that you got at a Camden and Guilford, this set has a crazy opening, like amazing opening. But in the middle and end of this set, I think some fans that may have traveled out or are just looking from afar be like, it was okay. Right. Then we get A Piece on Earth. Dave played this in Montana, Dave solo. Prior to that Montana performance, there were 7 full band performances of the song. And then before those 7 full band performances, it had been played Dave solo in the encore. And of course, the first ever performance prior to the tour, the Houston Dave solo show is where we first hear Peace on Earth. I will say this show ended in a really cool way. P&P into Pig in the encore. And P&P separate from Rapunzel. And so, great way to end the show. But I do think that some fans who are chasing set lists, which again, this is why I tell you, you don't chase set lists. You go to shows wanting to enjoy a new venue, wanting to enjoy a night with this band, which to me, regardless of song choice, is really dialed in. But for fans who maybe tried to go out west and string together a couple shows, hoping for a tour debut, hoping for rarities, that was not, you got some rarities, both nights you have some rarities, but you also have some hit songs, you have some slower songs and some like songs, right? And so it is what it is. Now, what I will say is that if you did do the LA Shoreline run, no repeats from last night's LA show. And really this year, the like you're only going to get, maybe when you have back-to-back 2-night stands, you may only get one repeated song from the night before. And many of those shows, it was Peace on Earth. There was a Stolen Away that was in Alpharetta, and it was also played at the Coca-Cola Amphitheatre in Birmingham, that brand new venue. But really, you're getting a lot of shows where you have the weekend. There's a lot of 2-night stands, but for the consecutive 2 sets of 1-night stands on a tour, any slots there where you see in that weekends, midweek, you're seeing either no repeats or you're seeing 1 repeat. So regardless, you're getting a lot of unique songs. This band is really making it a point to have sets that don't, the previous night you're not getting repeats. And the highlight is that's a big thing for 1-night stands that you go to, you string a couple together and you get a lot of unique songs. And even this set has limited repeats from Camden Night 2, which was 2 shows ago. All right, let me go ahead. I want to play. I'm going to set this up. Let's see if we can. We'll play this for you guys. This is someone who was actually there. And this video is from Rich Sorokman. And I want to thank him again for sending this out. This is a 3-minute video. Let's go ahead and listen.
Hey Marcus, I just left the show at Shoreline Amphitheatre. I'm in Mountain View, California at the Google headquarters. The show tonight was really good. I would say is maybe half a step below what we saw in LA last night, but it had some extremely high highlights that I've been waiting to see, like the open of You Never Know, Red and a Bartender, which I've been dying to see for several years. Then we heard the 2004 song Joyride, which was really cool to hear. And Nancy's was really great. The crowd went nuts for that song. Crowd tonight, I would say, they were somewhat casual, but they were all very respectful. So it ended up being, a great crowd. I don't have any complaints about that at all. I was on the lawn. So as far as the sound goes, I was mostly listening to like a single speaker, and it sounded fine. I'm sure it sounded better in the bowl, but Shoreline is pretty good in the lawn area. I think I like Fiddler's Lawn a little bit better, but that's neither here nor there. And then I think the bookends of the show was amazing. Between what I already discussed and then the ending, which was Rapunzel, a song I love. The crowd went crazy for Rapunzel. They loved it. And people were definitely on board with Dave during Peace on Earth and his comments before that. And the closing of P&P and a Pig was just really awesome. There was a lot of stuff in the middle, a lot of songs that I'm not crazy about in the middle, but something really cool happened when Tim played acoustic on, it was Satellite. He started on Monkey and Satellite, and then Black and Bluebird. It just sounded really awesome. I don't know how often he does that, but overall, I'd say this was like definitely an A-, B+ kind of show. And they left a lot on the table for Tahoe, Nevada show that I'm going to go to in a couple of days. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate you guys listening.
All right, so we want to thank Rich for sending that in, giving us perspective. So he's I don't know if he's parked at the Google headquarters. We're in Silicon Valley here for this show, and I'm not, but there's another fun thing is there's an Intuit building, not in Mountain View, California. There's also an Intuit building. Funny enough, the Intuit Dome was right in the footprint of where the Kia Forum is. Like, right, you walk across the street, I believe it is. It's really with walking distance. So anyway, nonetheless, great to hear from Rich there, give perspective of the night. A lot of casuals at the show, from what he was saying. And yeah, the thing is, as much as there's some of the slower parts or the low parts for certain fans are to get Dreaming Tree, You Never Know, Bartender, Joyride in the same set, Nancy's in the same set is phenomenal. But again, I think a lot of it is when you have a bar set high for some of the runs of shows we've gotten in the East Coast, and then you come out West and you get some bangers, but you also get some moments of a show that may be slower, plus a Jimmy, right? And things like that. It can be a little frustrating, word up. But I still think overall this show is filled with a lot of great songs. All right, let's get you guys can see the poster right there. I want to get a bigger picture. So just give me one moment. I'm going to set this up. And let's see. Now, if you're in the comments, let me know. Brian, I don't know if you're still here. Rich, yes, you're there. Rich, let me know. I saw a picture on Reddit where it said the Sperry poster was $100. Is that true? And again, I would not be shocked because of the demand for the Sperry. Can someone just confirm with me if the Sperry was $100, the regular non-foil, if that was $100 or not? Because we want to talk about the poster now. And I'm putting it up on screen right about now. But again, in the chat, in the comments after, let me know. I saw a picture here, and it was from Reddit, and someone showed the poster stand. It said $100. And if you guys can see, let me go to my right here. If you guys see behind me, because what I want to talk about now, I want to talk about the Sperry posters. And Mark does say, thank you, Mark. He says that, yes, the Sperry was $100. If you look behind me, this is actually a fun, well, no, let me just tell the story instead of talking about it. So behind me is a Government Mule Sperry from the Westfield Music Bowl run of shows. I went to the final show of a 3-show run. Ann Wilson was there. Now, they did this run of Government Mule posters. This was post-pandemic. This was 2021. My now wife, we were dating at the time, and I brought my now wife to this show for a date. She had never seen any sort of thing in the world of jam band ever. And so she's at a Government Mule show with me, and I tell her, like, okay, this is what posters, there's a poster culture, and these are like pieces of art that you put up, like people have of like a Basquiat or whoever, a Warhol. Obviously, they're not as much as a Basquiat poster will run you, but they have value that will go up over time. And I was like, I hope my wife will understand this because this is a new world for her. And I said, we got to line up early for this poster. And again, I'm on a date. We're on a date, right? And we were dating, and I was at the point where I was like, it wasn't like too early where she's like, oh my gosh, what is this? But so we line up, we get the poster. I got like one of the last prints. And this is a social distance post-pandemic show in New England. People were like, you have to wear a mask, otherwise you're arrested, right? That's how crazy it was up here. And so I get this poster, but my wife Googles like how much these posters were going for right before, like after we get to our seats, and she's like, whoa, I understand the value of this poster thing. I say all that to say that a Sperry poster, there's no variation. He makes beautiful women, right? He makes beautiful women. And that's what you're going to get with the Sperry. I think some people may say this is one of the lower ranked Sperrys compared to the other ladies that he's made. But nonetheless, he does the same thing every time. He makes a woman's, it's different color, slightly different colors. He may try to go for a different ethnicity, even though there's no like black, white, he just tries to diversify the beautiful women that he makes of different backgrounds, which is dope. Hey, that's great. And so the knock on Sperry's, people are like, I don't understand. It's the same one. It's the same one. It's the same one. Now, tonight may be an exception because of where it is. Shoreline has had some pretty cool posters that have not sold out, like the Hourglass one from a couple years ago. But when there is a Sperry, it either sells out right away or over time, there's a lot of value in that poster where anyone who has a print, they have a high value poster. You look at the Virginia Beach, there was a Berkeley, California Sperry, right? Up the Bay Area, north of here in the Bay Area, right? And those posters have high value. So as much as people, you can say Sperry's not, hey, I don't like Sperry's, but two things are for certain. There's not a lot of Sperry posters, right? There's less than 10 that he's made for DMB all time. And when he makes them, there's demand. People were literally saying, please buy me I will pay you $400, $500, $600 if you buy me a second poster. So you go back in line. And for this show, you could buy a poster 3 hours into from the gates opening. Someone's reported online and tagged me in it. There's still posters 3 hours after gates opened. In the middle of this show, you could go back to the poster stand and get another one. There was a limit, one per customer initially, and there were foils left too. And again, this is a location type thing because Shoreline, again, they had an awesome Hourglass poster, didn't sell it. It is what it is. They don't get shows every year, and some of them won't. Some venues just don't have a lot of people who are poster collectors. The next thing I want to talk about is people were like, oh, why does it at the Gorge? I'm going to the Gorge. And I get it. You're going to the Gorge. You want a banger. There's already been 2 Sperry's for the Gorge. I was at the first one, 2019, Gorge 2019, that Saturday. People were there at 12 noon. That Sperry was real. I mean, that's arguably one you could say is the best one for DMB specifically. You could argue, but in 2019, I remember at the Gorge, that was a huge. I mean, that thing was gone in 60 seconds. And so there's already been one in 2019. They had one a couple years ago as well. I think that was 2022 or 23. Right. Let's go to I think it was 22 because I was there 21. But if we go to the Gorge, I think it was horse, or was it 23? Was it 23? Let's go through the posters. Elephant. Oh, that's not going to state line. Elephant, Danger, and then it was 20. I think it was 23. Yeah, I think it was because Butterfly Sperry was Saturday, right? Yep, this is the second one. Yeah, so they had one in 2023 as well. In the run on this, what they realized is they were like, "Yo, we gonna run this up." The run of the number of posters that were printed was much more. I think today was 1,500, but they put more out and they raised the price. In 2023, the posters overall, all 3 nights were more expensive, and they've been doing that ever since. So they started to jack up the prices of everything for the Gorge. So we go to the night and we get going back to the set. This is the mountain view, and you have this one. And so those are my 2 things with the poster. First of all, for those of you who are like, I don't get it, you don't have to get it. These things sell and they have a high resale value. They also are few and far between. It's not like Methane, which has had years where they've had a lot of mid posters and subpar posters, and they've had the same ideas. It's the same concepts, but there's only so many of these that have been done with DMB. And it's been spread out over a long time. And then again, the people at the Gorge, if you were at the Gorge, or you're going to the Gorge and you're like, oh, I can't believe it, they should not have 3 of these. And for people who say it's repetitive, the other thing is every venue does not have a Sperry. There's one for Alpine. Yeah, there's one for Berkeley. There's one for Virginia Beach. There's 2 for the Gorge. But if they have a Sperry at SPAC, there's thousands of potential fans. Not everyone's going to get a poster, but there's thousands and hundreds that will have never gotten an opportunity to be at a show where there's a Sperry poster. You do West Palm Beach, you do wherever. There's a lot of venues, staple venues that don't have a Sperry still. And so that's where, yeah, it's repetitive. It's the same. But I do like when an artist has a similar theme and they bring it to a different city. And for me, missing out on that Gorge Sperry in 2019 and just not being willing to get there that early and not willing to pay the resale, to have one behind me from New Haven, Connecticut, the pizza capital of the world, 45 minutes from where I live, that was cool to have a Connecticut show have a Sperry. Even though it was Government Mule, I was excited for that. So there you go. That's my little poster rant there. Yeah. I think people who are like, oh, it should have been the Gorge. No, you've had to. And people, I don't get it. I don't know. It's always the same. It's like, yeah, but when a venue gets something like this, it's special. And this was a nice surprise because there was no leak that I saw. There was no kind of advance warning. The poster dropped today. People saw it and they're like, yo, that's dope. And I'm happy for some of you guys got posters there. And Rich D said the poster is a work of art, even though he did not get it. And that's the thing. People have different things. And there's poster artists that I don't really like their art, but I understand why people love it. And it is the effort. To me, I can respect effort and time. And even if I don't like something, whether it's a band, whether it's even stuff this band does, DMB does. There's some stuff, I don't care for it, but I know that there are fans who want that. And I know the effort and time the band has done to the work they've done to make that song, create that song, bring it to life, give it new life live compared to the studio album, and then play it, even though I'm not rocking with that song. I'm not a huge fan. So I can respect effort. I can respect art. I can respect talented people doing talented things, even if I don't rock with them. And so that's the poster discussion. Let's play a clip. I got this off Reddit. I do want to give credit where credit is due. I want to give the creator credit. I was able to download this video, but this is a post. Tim Acoustic at Shoreline. This is the first video I'm seeing from here. This is oh, sorry, you guys can't see it. Let me take the poster off. But I'm going to play the video in a better way for you guys to view it for the stream. But I do want to just give credit to the fan who posted this and got this up ASAP. This is Reddit. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get this. This is what it is. This is the person. ANUMINOU some. I don't know. And I'm use some. It's too late for me to know what that is. But that is the content creator that uploaded this, or the person who uploaded this. The user who uploaded this to Reddit. I'm going to give them their credit. And I'm going to play it right now for you guys. And this is my first time hearing it. So let's go ahead, get this up. We're going to make it a little bigger for you guys to see. I'll make sure it's... Put this down. So there, we'll have to see what tape or audio comes about. I'm not sure if there was coverage. I'll have to reach out to my taping friends to see. As always, give it a 2-week. Please be patient with these tapers. And I get it. I get that. The thing is, I'm trying to have more empathy because I remember being a newer fan myself, but sometimes I forget about it. I'm like, dude, why are people asking for the audio? This show just ended. Like, chill, son. And so I get people are excited. They're going to want to hear certain things. Give the community that tapes, that rips audio from SiriusXM, give them, some time. It's a 2-week rule, but please, many times it's much quicker than that. Please give them time. If you do not see something posted as far as to Dreaming Tree or Ants or on the hub, it doesn't, like, if it was recorded, it just means someone was working on it, or maybe there was an issue with that recording, or it just wasn't recorded at all. If it's ready to go, if it is recorded and it's in good condition, it's going to be ready. There's a couple exceptions where a taper has decided not to release something for their own reasons. It's their recording of a DMB show. They can't profit off it, but they have the right under their name to release it or keep it concealed if they don't believe it's up to a certain level of quality. It's their right. If you want audio, learn how to tape. And I've been meaning to work with some of the tapers to have them on and have a kind of a thing on to kind of help people if they want to start taping. But if you really want audio, just go invest and do some research online and tape the shows and help us all out, right? That's the one thing. You're talking about, I want tape, I want to record it. Hey, the band lets you do it. Invest in the equipment and record. So shout out to the tapers. But again, people got to be patient. Be patient, please. All right. What are we at? Oh, we're at 50. Let me wrap this show up. And, okay. So I wanted to close the show with just my thoughts. Many of you guys know, if you don't know, I am a new father. Been working with kids since I was 8 years old, babies, but I am now a father. That means 24 hours a day. I am blessed to have a 5-month-old. Right. And let's see if we can find them here. My boy is sleeping right now. It is the best. It is the best thing I could ever share with my wife. There's my boy right there. You can see him. That's my boy, Miles. But I wanted to share my perspective on, now that I am a father, 5 months into this awesome duty to raise a son. My thoughts on bringing kids to shows, and this is more of my perspective, my personal thoughts. Now that I have a 5-month-old, first and foremost, let me start off with this. When it comes to, people talk down on Gen Z and whatever this, like 2015 or whatever gen is, but people talk down on kids all the time. And the irony is, as a mentor of young men in my community and a mentorship program, a lot of these kids are well behaved. The worst behaved people at concerts are adults going through these midlife crises. And listen, I know life is hard. I know people have had some tough divorces. People have had some rough things. The worst people at shows are these fans in their 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. And I'm 34 myself. So I will say the kids who are at shows are phenomenal. Whether they're teenagers, whether they're middle school or elementary school, or whether they're a little baby. The best behaved people at shows are these children. And even people like you guys, whatever y'all been doing in the D&B community, you guys have raised some respectful children. And hopefully the rest of the world, especially these kids in sports, hopefully they can learn from you D&B parents, you D&B mamas, and your D&B fathers. So I'll start off with that. The kids that I've met at shows, I've met some of you guys' kids at shows, well behaved. They love the simple things about shows. And they teach us all how to be appreciative and have gratitude and show love to people. I mean, these kids go out and you're tailgating and they're passing out bracelets. They don't know who anyone is, but they go up with a smile and say, hey, do you want a bracelet? Right? So I think the children that are at these shows of all ages are the best behaved people at the shows, and they deserve the autographs. They deserve the set lists. They deserve all of the recognition from this band. They deserve to have their day made by a band member. Now, when it comes to young children, I'm talking children under 5, I'm talking babies, like, here's where I'm at personally with my son. Right now, there is no chance that I'm going to bring my son in his first 5 years of life to an actual show. And it probably will be a little longer. I'm not even considering, and things can change, but I'm not even considering bringing my son to a show until he's old enough to say, Daddy, I want to go to a show. And if he doesn't like D&B, that's fine too. Like sometimes family, people want their kids, I want them to love their music. And I know it's natural. You want them. If my kid's good in school, finds his own passion, is respectful to others, I don't care if he likes D&B. I'm sorry, people. I need my son or daughter to no. I'm not going to dress him up like a fire dancer for Halloween. Right? And so I'm not bringing my son, who would be 6 months old. Oh, no, he'd be almost 6 months old next week if we went to the Gorge. I'm not doing that. As a matter of fact, I'm not even thinking about concerts right now. Now, eventually I do have some shows for the fall. I think I have Flecktones, and I may add another one, but I've passed on Snarky Puppy yesterday. So my personal journey, right? I just have reduced the amount of days and events I go out for. And I do stuff like this at night when my son is asleep. I post show stream, I video edit here and there, but even the video editing has slowed down because I just believe that these days, there's only so many of these days where my son is going to be this age, these precious early years, working with babies in my church daycare for over 20 years. I just feel like I'm not going to force I'm not going to go to more shows. I'm going to a lot less shows. B, I'm not going to bring my 6-month-old or 1-year-old to a show because I just feel like it's not the best environment. But for those of you who do that, they're right. But for me, I'm just explaining it so far, 5 months in, still really early in, I just can't see myself bringing a baby to a D&B show. And so that's where I'm at. I just don't think it's the right environment for them. Even 2, 3, working with 3 and 4-year-olds in the church nursery, at times too, and some of the toddlers, I just don't see it as an option. And what I will say is, if you are, this is kind of my thing as a new father, if some of you guys are expecting your first child, for those of you who are considering or about to be a parent, give yourself time to figure out what works best for you. Because for some of you, you may bring your 2-year-old to a show, but you have to take time. So what I did is, when I knew, like, my wife was expecting last year, I already made a plan that I was not going to travel, right? And I told you guys, once I announced you guys, hey, my wife's had this baby, I'm not going to Deer Creek. I'm not going to Alpine. I'm not going to anything outside of the Northeast. And I only did 4 shows this year, 2-night stands, right? But give yourself time, because you may find that you're eager to get back to D&B when you're about to have a baby, or if your wife's about to have a baby, you're like, oh, I'm gonna want to get back to D&B in like 3 months. Give yourself time, because sometimes your whole, the way you feel about life is gonna forever change. When you see that baby enter this world, your life changes forever in the best way possible. But your desire for like live music, it could change. Now, you still may go back to a show, and I think the other part of it is you have to get, like, again, as a new parent talking to anyone who's expecting, you have to get back to dates. You have to get back to going out. You should not feel bad having your your mother or your father watch your 3-month-old or your 4-month-old or 5-month-old, right? If you feel good enough to go to a show. And you may need to, it may be a game time decision. You may not buy tickets to the day of the show because you really have to see how you feel. Is the baby sick? Are they going through complications? Is your spouse going through some challenges after having that child? But I think the best thing that I could say, if anyone's expecting a father, your father's coming. But my best advice, I know I'm mumbling and jumbling around, but my best advice is to give yourself time to figure out what works best for you. Because you don't know all this stuff. There's all these risk factors and all this stuff. You don't know what's going to happen until that baby comes. You don't know how you're going to feel until you've looked that baby in the eyes. And then a couple months later, see how you feel. And then a couple months later, see how you feel. Everything right now in my life is fluid. Every potential thing I could do could be canceled on a dime for my son, for my wife, because if she needs additional support, right? Everything that I do, even these post-show streams, could be canceled. You don't see me one day. My son's sick. I'm up all night with him. That's what my father did. That's what my grandfather did with my father. So I think it's very important to just, and there's a lot of questions I see online about the gorge or bringing your son to this show or that show or bringing your daughter to this show or that show. And there's nothing wrong with bringing your toddler to a D&B show. Even with me, who I'm just like, and I'm not doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. And again, some of my friends have brought their toddlers to shows. But give yourself time after that baby. Even if you've had another child, give yourself time. If it's been 2, 3, 4 years since your last child, give yourself time. Wait out. Don't buy the tickets. Maybe, not even, get a hotel you can cancel with up to 48 hours prior to the show, because you never know what's going to happen. I almost came home early from Guilford because we thought something was going on, right? And so I would have left. I would have missed it. I'm not more important right now than my wife and my son. And so give yourself time to kind of figure out, okay, now that this child, whether it, is in my life, I have this beautiful child and it's such a great experience in these early days. What am I going to do next? Am I going to cut back on touring? Am I going to take a year off? Am I going to do this? Because things are so fluid, and you don't want to ever regret not spending this time with the child, or taking them to an environment that maybe isn't. You go there and you're like, you know what? Maybe this isn't right. So anyway, that was 10 minutes. You'll never get back, but just some of my thoughts as a new parent with a 5-month-old and still navigating going to shows and passing on a lot of different shows this summer. A lot of shows I passed up on just because I wanted to be present here. And I still have some shows, but again, these are very, within 2 hours of where I live. I'm going home that same night. I'm there before I leave. And even so, this Flecktone show, if something's happening with my son, I'll skip the Flecktone show, right? I don't even think about it, right? I'm whatever it takes for this boy, if he needs me, my wife needs me, I'm there. So anyway, and it brings me to give a greater level of gratitude to what this band has done, because this band has been 3,000 miles away from their family, right? And some of their kids are now grown up. And I know Buddy has kids who are still in grade school, right? And so I appreciate what they do, the sacrifices they make to play for us as fans, to give us the therapy we need through music, and they're away from their kids for stretches. Even if they get all this time off and the off season off, they're still 2-3 months in the summertime away from their children, no matter how old or young they are. And now Dave with his grandchild that's either here or on the way. I appreciate what they do. And by all means, if they need to take time off and all that stuff, or the tours are condensed for a graduation, I'm fine. If they skip Hartford because Dave has to go to his son's graduation next year, or they skip another venue that's near me, I get it. I get it, Dave. I get it, whatever. You guys don't owe us anything. Your family is always first. So anyway, that's it. All right, we'll end with this outro. I'll be back for the State Line show, and it looks like Rich, I know you have messaged me. Send me a video after State Line as well. I love hearing all your opinions from the shows, and the fact you guys can send me a video clip right after the show. When I play it, it gives everyone at home perspective of what it was like to be there. It's your boy ConserViz34. I am out. Stay tuned. Again, I'm working on a lot of different things for the next couple of months. A Big Sky Montana compilation, SPAC Night 1, Night 2, Guilford Night 1, Night 2, and some other miscellaneous projects that we're going to get done for the end of the year. All right. Take care. Peace.